All right, Coach of the Year odds have been out for a while. Brandon Staley, the head coach, entering his second year with the LA Chargers, is the favorite, followed by Nathaniel Hackett of the Denver Broncos, Frank Reich, etc. Down the list we go. The list we're making today is on the other side of the equation, the coaches under the most pressure. And as I was falling asleep last night, I went through all 32 teams, and I came up with a very good list of 6. And I forget what they were now because I was falling asleep, and I fell asleep. But I think it'll come back to me. There's a lot of coaches that I think are safe this year. Now, we always say that. It's once you start playing the games and once coaches start making stupid decisions or having unfortunate press conferences or whatever that they earn their ticket out of town. We know at the end of the day there'll be 6, 7, or 8 that end up getting fired. Who is under the most pressure as the season approaches? That's today's draft. Myles, you have the first selection.
It's funny because, I mean, you said, there are a lot of safe coaches you think this year. I thought that last year, and then we saw all the coaches that got fired. It was almost basically, like a third of the league that changed coaches. So anyway, but the first coach that would be on my list is Cliff Kingsbury. And they've got to be able to not just start well, but finish well. And that's going to be more difficult when you have DeAndre Hopkins out with a suspension. But at the same time, like, this is Cliff Kingsbury's team's MO, right? They start off pretty well, or at least decently, and then they fall off at the end of the year. You cannot keep having that thing happen, right? That they played an absolutely non-competitive playoff game against the Los Angeles Rams last year, to end the season, I guess you could say, on Monday night at SoFi Stadium here in Los Angeles, and they had no shot from get-go, right? And that is embarrassing when you know that it's an NFC West rival that you're facing a third time. You at least should be competitive in that game. I think Cliff Kingsbury has got to be better this year as a head coach.
He got a contract extension at a time when there was a lot of smoke and steam about what was going to happen with him, and we never saw the details. We don't know how much of it's guaranteed. We don't know if it was just a Band-Aid to get through to next year, and then let's see. If we have another one of these Cliff can't finish years where left column early in the year looks good, right column is a disaster. That's a graphic that we throw up from time to time. It could be lights out for Cliff Kingsbury, even though he did get that new contract, but he is tied to Kyler Murray as well. That's a big factor here because they're represented by the same guy. And if they would have fired Cliff Kingsbury after the 2021 season, they would have had a big problem with Kyler Murray. Okay, Matt Rule is my first one. I think he would have been fired after 2021 if he didn't have such a gigantic buyout, even though David Tepper is one of the richest owners in the NFL. He is the richest for now. Rob Walton will supplant him by about $50 billion in net worth when that deal is finalized. But I think Tepper didn't want to buy out the Rule contract, didn't want to admit he was wrong. So he's given it one more try, and I think there's a chance that it's not going to go well for the Panthers, and that Rule will be out if they don't improve significantly over what they've been.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, I think if there's anybody who's on the hot seat right now, it's got to be Matt Rule. I mean, think about it. Like, there was a story that came out about, the Panthers having interest in Sean Payton, and the team didn't say, we have a coach. It was, we would never discuss like another coach that's under a contract with another team, which is like, wait, what? I don't know. That was a strange thing that happened. My second pick is under somebody that's, under pressure, Frank Reich. Like, the Colts have to be better this year. And they went out, they got Matt Ryan after they decided that they wanted nothing to do anymore with Carson Wentz, which is still like kind of wild that they just say, yeah, like, bye Carson. We're going to figure out the quarterback position. We don't care what it is. It just is not going to be you. And they were fortunate that Matt Ryan became available, and I think that he is probably one of the best options that they could get. But you cannot have another late season collapse like they did last year when they lost to the Raiders and then they lost to the Jaguars and missed out on the postseason. You've got guys like Jonathan Taylor who are elite. Darius Leonard, he's dealing with some injuries, but he's another elite guy that's on that team. So they've got to be better, and they've got to make it to the postseason.
When the owner of the team still periodically throws shade at Carson Wentz months after they got rid of him, how does the owner of the team not permanently view differently the guy who wanted Carson Wentz there? That's why I'm stunned Frank Reich wasn't fired after they lost to the Jaguars. And I think Chris Ballard probably had a lot to do with smoothing things over, with getting Jim Irsay to just look, this all goes back to Andrew Luck retiring. We'd have been fine if Andrew Luck hadn't retired, but we got thrown into this mindset. And because we have such a good team, we can't go draft some young player and try to tolerate, him learning how to play quarterback. We need to go get a veteran. This was the best we could do. We tried it. Let's give it another try. So I still think that if they struggle this year, Irsay's not going to be able to get over the fact that Reich was the guy that wanted Carson Wentz. Mike McCarthy is the next one for me because of the guy you mentioned, Sean Payton. Payton is hovering. He's looming. He's going to be the top of the A-list for someone in 2023. And we know those discussions are had, those decisions are made. And as written in Playmakers, available now wherever you buy your books. Hopefully you buy some books and read some books, especially my book. Too late to get it for $3.99 on Kindle. Sold a few of them yesterday at $3.99. Imagine that. But when it's 3/4 of a gallon of gas, you can really move some books. But the Cowboys were hiring Peyton a few years ago when Jason Garrett was the head coach, and it all fell apart. I think McCarthy needs to worry about Sean Payton entering and McCarthy exiting.
Yeah, I think that's certainly a possibility, especially because we know that the Cowboys have had interest in the past. My last pick be Matt LaFleur. And, it's interesting because there's a lot that's been going on in Green Bay, right? But when you get rid of Devontae Adams, that's going to put some inherent pressure on you to make sure your scheme is right to maximize the talents of Aaron Rodgers, right? So I think that there is some pressure there. I don't necessarily think he's going to be fired, but I think
he's got 13 wins a year for 3 years. He's got 39 wins in 3 seasons.
I'm not saying that I'm not talking badly about Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur's my guy, but I just think when you delete somebody who is that productive and that much of your offense, it's tough. So there's some pressure on Matt LaFleur to make sure he gets that right. No,
it's not hot seat. It's pressure.
Yeah.
It's pressure.
But pressure makes diamonds, and I
1,
think
2, 3, 4 pressure. All right, we need to take a break. We're deferring my pick. I want to really carefully take my pick under consideration, kind of like Judge Wapner. I'm going to go to my chambers, and I'll be back with my decision right after this. 5 picks in and 1 to go. The coach is under the most pressure in 2022. Not hot seat. We were talking about this during the break. You can be under pressure and be on the hot seat, but you can also be under pressure without being on the hot seat. Hot seat, you're under pressure. But you can still be under pressure. I don't know. It sounded better during the break. Kyle Shanahan is under pressure.
Yes.
Kyle Shanahan is not on the hot seat necessarily, although he could have a sufficiently disastrous season to be swept out of San Francisco. Because when you look at the overall record of Shanahan with the 49ers, it is not nearly all that impressive. Now, last year they turned it around late and they got to the brink of the Super Bowl. But this year with this whole quarterback thing, and can you get Trey Lance ready, and are you going to compete with the Rams and McVay and Matthew Stafford? A lot of pressure on Kyle Shanahan to prove himself right for the move they made last year to trade up to get Trey Lance, Kyle.
Absolutely.
Kyle. Myles.
Haven't been called Kyle in a while. Yeah, thank you. No. Well,
Myles Shanahan is under pressure.
What the world is about, right? Isn't it? Yeah. Watching some
good friends say.
Yeah. Anyway, I agree with you. Kyle Shanahan is under pressure. He was one of my picks too, especially because if you have a young QB in Trey Lance, you got to make sure that you get that right. So either he's going to be proving himself right or he's not. I don't know.
Well, it is the terror of knowing what this world is about, as you say. So we were talking about this during the break too. Under Pressure is such an underrated all-time great song, and I will have it in my head all day long.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.